Alright, and one, two, three, four.
If you could Hello, friends. Hello. That should not be what it's capturing. There we go. Okay. Hello. Welcome to my stream. I just woke up like 10 minutes ago from a nap. And the first thing I see when I get on Facebook is this. Now, I didn't watch the full thing. I did start watching it. This boy, I can't call him a man. He's a boy. This boy identifies as an incel. Like, he himself calls himself an incel. Which is fine. You are free to identify however you want. So Jubilee is the name of this channel, page. Like, I know that I watch her videos. They do a lot of interesting videos. Typically it's like one secret mediator versus vegans, or one secret Jew versus one secret non-Jew versus Jews. I promise, like, it's not as bad as it sounds. It's basically this thing where they get a bunch of people and, like, they'll say, okay, let's do, everybody here is a Jewish person except for one person, and you guys need to figure out who this non-Jewish person is by asking questions. And if you get it right, the Jewish people win the money. But if you get it wrong, the secret non-Jew wins all the money. In that specific case, the secret non-Jew won the money. That being said, this video is a little bit different because I haven't really ever seen anybody really bring in like an actual like incel that isn't obnoxiously over the top with it and kind of like suspicious, like as if it's someone acting like how they think incels would act. So for you, I have this, and I'll play it, and we'll watch it together, and we'll talk about it, because I feel like it's interesting, at least to me. If it's not interesting to you, well, that sucks. I like it. It's all that matters.
Could you summarize your opinion towards women?
Like what I think of them?
Yes.
I do think they are very important, but... Okay, hey, I'm Brendio. I also go by Derek. I'm an incel, and I'm here to answer people's questions about the topic.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, I'm good.
So you're an incel.
Yes.
Why would you ever sign up to do this?
I suppose I would want to give more of a positive light on this community, which is a very negative light upon it.
Okay. And do you think that's a good thing?
Yes,
Why is that?
because a lot of the boys in this community aren't bad people.
But you acknowledge that a good handful of them are, right?
Not a good handful, I would say a small handful.
Who hurt you, or what happened? What event sort of catalyzed this way of thinking and you getting into this kind of research?
Society?
Do you hate women?
No,
No.
no.
Do you have a female role model in your life?
A female role model?
Yeah, like a mom or an aunt or a friend?
I mean, I love my mom. I wouldn't necessarily consider her a role model, but I do love her quite a bit.
If a woman was elected as president of the United States, how would you react?
I don't know. It probably would depend on the woman. I probably wouldn't be supportive of it, honestly, but
Why do you say that, if you don't mind me asking?
I do think that men should be the leaders and women should be the caregivers and the loving, supporting, and the teachers in some cases.
Since
I just want to interject. I personally, my own personal opinion, so don't get mad, don't disagree that women probably shouldn't be in political power. Hear me out. Hear me out. This is common, more common of a belief amongst women even than people think. Yes, I prefer men to be in power. Do I think women need to always be the caretakers? And no. Am I in a caretaking job? Yes, because it's a preference. Whether or not there are some women that are in complete denial, the top jobs that women usually take are in nursing or administration or some kind of job like that. Typically, there's obviously outliers. There's obviously people who, they want to go against that. So yeah, you'll have female construction workers. You'll have female garbage disposal people. I don't know, like jobs that the average woman does not want. But that doesn't mean the majority feels the need to go into politics. Like, you see the push for STEM and you see the push for women going into politics, but the fact of the matter is, the vast majority of women don't want to be in politics. You could say this, oh, women are discouraged. That's not true. Like, women are constantly being encouraged to join the STEM field, go into politics. Women don't tend to want that. And the ones that do tend to be like Hillary Clinton. Just very miserable women. Would I want to elect a miserable man into politics? No. But it appears that men aren't as miserable in the political world as women are, if that makes sense. So I'm going to play more of it, and we'll see what else he has to say.
women of color or just women in general have been oppressed by certain systems and other oppressed communities, especially LGBTQ+, all those don't really fit with the spectrum that incels or you have been talking about. So why do you think your method of thought would help fix what we have today?
I probably wouldn't view the things that you might view as oppression as oppression. I have a feeling. I would view it more as how we treat children that we love. We control them, but we control them lovingly, not as a slave, not as we're forcing them to do things against their will. I would view it more as a loving domestic thing in the past. And I would say that if we were to do it in a civilized way, maybe in a more, even a Christian way, even though I'm not really advocating for a certain religion or ideology, I would assume that women would probably be happier. And I wouldn't just assume that blindly. I would assume that based on the data that I have seen.
What data have you seen that has brought you to this conclusion? Because I'm now curious where I can get this data from.
I couldn't reference it offhand, but I believe there was a study that I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head.
Okay. Okay. Always go prepared, my dude. I actually do know what he is talking about, and he's not wrong. Oh, Leaf, how are you agreeing with the incel? Hear me out, just listen. He is talking about a study, a Yale study, or a Yale paper, okay? It's a Yale. I know exactly what he's talking about, and the paper that was written is called The Paradox of Declining Female Happiness. It was a 2004 study. It was done by Betsy Stevenson and Justin Wolfers. I'm probably saying this wrong. So what I'm going to attempt to do is actually bring up the study. And I will kind of maybe explain if I feel like you guys would understand, so I don't need to explain. But if it's needed, I will explain something, because I'm pretty sure this is what he's talking about. And like, yeah, like women aren't as happy as they used to be when they were like the caregivers and shit, because like, hello, we have to get jobs. Jobs are stressful. Like, it doesn't even matter if you love what you do. I do love my job. However, I work with children. Stressful. Children don't always listen. They will hit you, they will bite you, they will run away. And they're not being raised with your morals or your values. They're always somebody else's values, so you can't really go against what the parent wants. Parents are sometimes assholes. Like, there's a lot of factors that didn't exist years upon years ago. It's just, there's a lot of different things now. Women were encouraged to get into the job force. And honestly, it's not as bad as it was a few years ago, but if you were ever involved in I don't want to call it a community, but if you ever were paying attention to feminists that were around a few years ago, they're still around today, just not as obnoxious and like covered by the media. They did attack women who wanted to be homemakers, like a lot. There was a lot of peer pressure to not be, you know, the stay-at-home mom, to not be the homemaker, to not be the one who cooks and cleans and all that, even if you enjoy it, which most women do. That is what most women are. It's genetic wiring. Like, we are genetically wired, for the most part, to want to be the nurturing type, like to take care of the house, to take care of the kids. There's some women who aren't like that because for whatever reason their biological hardwiring is a little bit fucked up, yeah. But like, okay, I'm gonna talk, and then we'll try to pull up the what's it called? Ugh, sorry, brain freeze. Pull up the study. I was so not ready to. I'm not really an OBS person, as you can probably see. I got basics set up, but I'm nothing like AP or UA, because both those guys like just they do stuff with OBS that is beyond me. My brain can't comprehend it. I'm not smart enough for it. But I will try to pull up the study because I feel like it's important to talk about. Because he's very, very unprepared. Don't get me wrong. He's ridiculously unprepared for this. And I think that's where the issue lies, is that he came in and he's like, oh, well, I know this study, but I can't name it. Well, I can do it for you because I'm 90% certain you're talking about the paradox of declining female happiness. So, ow! Okay, I just hit my leg on something. I'm good. Everything's good. Everything's good. So we will look at you probably won't be able to see it because I have to project from my phone onto the screen, but let's look at it. So it's called The Paradox of Declining Female Happiness. It talks about women, the lives of women in the US have improved over the past 35 years, but they're still showing that women's happiness has declined both absolutely and relative to men. The paradox of women's declining relative well-being is found across various data sets. God, I need to chill and not fuck up my words. I'm sorry. I'm very bad at, like, this and life in general. It's okay. I'll get through this. Anyway, basically, women's lives have improved, but the happiness has not. Why is that? Why has lives as women improved over the past 30-something years, but happiness has not? It's because of what I said earlier. It's because stress. It says here that the gender wage gap has partly closed. I'm going to disagree there and say it's fully closed. The reason is because I'm just going to take this off the screen sec so I can really like focus on. Oops, that's not what I wanted. I clicked the wrong thing. I'm sorry. Okay, so basically, the wage gap has, anybody who talks about it is ignoring key factors. Women make less than men, and that's it. No, but also yes. Not for the reasons they claim. They ignore factors such as degrees. If you are a woman and you have a bachelor's degree in a field, and the man you are working with has a master's degree in said field, he's going to make more money than you. Even if you work the same hours. So, but what about the men that have the same degree as us and we've been working at the same place for the same amount of time? Men are also more likely to ask for a raise. Women typically don't. They typically don't. Men are also less likely to go on leave. Well, women are more likely to go on pregnancy leave, and I'm sorry, you're not going to get paid as much as a dude if you're on leave. It's just how it works. They don't even factor in different jobs. Just kind of lump it all together. Women, on average, don't take the higher paying jobs that men take. It's just the fact of the matter is they don't. Constantly trying to be oppressed has to be fucking exhausting, which is why this American woman sitting here telling this incel, like, we're oppressed. Women of color are oppressed. Joe, fuck you. You live in America. You are not oppressed. You want to see real oppression? I mean, I wouldn't recommend it, but you can go, like, check out Afghanistan. Heard they're not doing too well, though, so you might want to hold off on that. That's real. That's true oppression. To fucking sit here in the United States or in Canada or in any Western nation and have the fucking audacity to claim you're oppressed is insane. It's insane. I personally don't like incels, but you have to have a basic understanding of some of their views and where they're coming from and why they feel like this. Like, this is a boy. This is like, he looks like a child to me. And yeah, when you're a child and you hear the internet, society being like, fuck men, like, constantly, and it happens a lot, seeing men get screwed over in family courts, seeing women just be fucking horrendous to men, be it like the custody battles, divorce, falsely accusing them of rape, the list goes on. So to an impressionable child, growing up hearing all this, talking about how white men are trash, blah blah blah, you can't help but be like, oh, okay, I can see where you're coming from. A little bit misguided, but understandable. Honestly, if I was a guy, and I was specifically a teenager. If I was a dude and I was a teenager and all this stuff was happening to me growing up as a child, and even parents do it now where they teach their children about how they're privileged because they're white or they're privileged because they're men. I could see why maybe men, just these young boys, don't want to bother with women. They're like, nah, you just seem like a bit too much. You're a little bit much for me, so I'm gonna go and not deal with you because you could potentially ruin my fucking life. Is it fair to do a blanket statement about all women like some women do about all men? No. But it's understandable. Not so much as understandable when the females that are feminists do it, because like it's one guy that they had a shitty relationship with and then they're suddenly like, all men are terrible. No, this is more like years upon years of hearing shit about their gender and seeing how men are treated in society based on a variety of different things and how women really have it easier than guys and always have. To deny that is ignorant at the very best, the very worst, just completely disingenuous. And so we are going to continue this video. I feel bad. I feel like you should have been more prepared. And I kind of went off on a tangent, but we're gonna finish this video, and yeah.
What do you think it is about liberal areas that create behavior in women that you think is a problem?
Promiscuity leads to increased standards in more primitive aspects such as looks, and that typically makes it harder for some people to find a relationship, including sometimes good-looking people. Like, there's guys who are much better looking than I am who are having a really hard time finding someone in a place like LA or in London or in Auckland, New Zealand, but they probably would have a perfectly fine time finding a woman somewhere else.
So you think that promiscuity is the problem, and if people were more monogamous and more withholding, that would sort of fix society?
Yeah, I suppose people are more traditionalists.
There have been a few mass shootings in the past where these shooters actually stated that they were incels or were radicalized by online incels. What do you think about their actions?
I condemn their actions. I don't believe violence is the solution. I don't.
Wait. This is like, this is like sitting a black person down, like, so, your community, there's been a lot of drive-by shootings, which for some reason are never considered mass shootings, no matter how many people they fucking shoot and kill, including children. It's like sitting a black person down who has nothing to do with these mass shootings. So, like, how do you feel about drive-by shootings? There's a lot of black people that do that. How do you feel about that? What the fuck? Oh my god, that's such a stupid fucking question. That is such a stupid fucking question. Like, obviously, the vast majority of incels even are going to just be like, yeah, no, like, that's fucked up. Why would I be like, yeah, that's cool? I'm obviously going to condemn that. Because Jesus fucking Christ. Want to talk about shootings? Compared to incels, black people have shot a hell of a lot more people. Like, just because. Their own people, even. I mean, incels going like, they shoot women because they're mad at the world and they're, well, fuck women, blah, 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 and they do all that stupid, dumb shit. But black people are like, fuck our own people. Bang, bang. Oh my god, sorry, that question was just... Oh my god. Okay, I can't. I don't know if anybody even agrees if that was a stupid question. I found it stupid. Like... How do you feel about mass shootings committed by incels? There's been mass shootings committed by people who aren't fucking incels. Okay, I'm good. Just, okay. Let's just continue.
I believe attacking random people is going to fix anything, whether they're, women or men. I do think that the reason why they committed those actions was probably because of out of desperation or out of, mental problems that probably could have been prevented had the right support was in their community, in their household. If people saw what they were posting and saw what they were experiencing in life and did something to help them.
Was there like a pivotal moment in your life, like a straw that broke the metaphorical camel's back?
It's constant years of rejection, no matter who the person was, constant years of rejection in other aspects of my life. It did kind of push me towards more, I suppose, radical beliefs, but I suppose they're only like radical, but they're more just old beliefs, really.
No, it sounds like I had another like metaphor, like death by 1,000 cuts. It's not like one pivotal moment, but it sounds like a bunch of things built up over time.
Yeah.
One of the common criticisms about the incel community is that you feel entitled to sex or intimacy. Do you believe that you deserve sex or intimacy from a woman?
I think everybody at some level deserves someone that loves them and, respects them, as long as you are also loving and respectful towards that person. They're an equal. You're not like seeking someone beyond yourself. You don't have like too high standards, I suppose.
Some of these questions are really fucking retarded. Yes, people, for the most part, deserve some type of intimacy. God, can you imagine, like, growing up with, like, zero intimacy, no love? I mean, no one's really, like, entitled to sex, but it does come with some forms of intimacy. But if you're trying to be out here like, you think you're entitled to intimacy and love, okay, yeah. Dude, do you understand that without intimacy, without love, that's a breeding ground for really fucked up people? Like, do you look at like a kid and be like, yeah, no, you're not entitled to love, child. You're not entitled to any form of intimate relationship, be it with like a parental kind of intimacy, be it like a sibling kind of intimacy, or you're just close with your family and you have a lot of support and you had a lot of love, which isn't always enough. Yes, love isn't always enough. Sometimes even from a loving home, it produces a fucking sociopath. But incels and sociopaths don't really go hand in hand. There could be some that are sociopaths, sure, but it doesn't really apply to the majority here. So please ask better questions. Like, if you were to sit down with an incel, there's gotta be a better question than this. There's been two so far that have been just horrible. Like, it's like they probably did go in there with a bias. To be perfectly honest, I probably would have as well. But I would have asked more thoughtful questions and not just this fucking weird loaded questions and expect to get like an answer to appease my views or to like go with what I think. Like, who? God, like, man, that's so mean. Like, why would you think that people don't deserve intimacy or love? And act like like an incel just thinks that they're entitled to those things when reality is, like, everybody deserves that. To an extent. Like, I shouldn't say everybody. There's some people who, like, do deserve to fucking die, and they're the worst of the worst people. They're not just some child. Look at his face. He looks like a baby. Not like a literal baby, but he looks like a kid. Like, he's not the worst of the worst. He's not a fucking pedophile. He's not like a murderer or something that did some heinous shit. He's a child that got told a lot of fucked up shit throughout his life, and now it's just like, I don't want to deal with women. Because he developed some sort of complex about it, which is understandable. But man, to act like people don't deserve intimacy or love, dude, like, I don't fucking know. Like, you're probably worse off in a relationship with a guy that thinks intimacy and love aren't something you deserve, versus an incel who's just like, I've been hurt a lot, and people have always said fucked up things to me and about my gender, so bye. But anyway, okay, I'm gonna play a video again.
If you can tell the world about something about being incel that, that may not be in the internet or that's overlooked heavily, what would it be?
I don't know. I think it's mostly that most of the men are not inherently bad people. A lot of them are just lonely. They just need some help, really.
Okay. Would you say that there's anything that other people can do to help guide or just support or anything?
The lonely person in your class or the lonely person in your workplace, maybe he's an incel and he's not letting you know, and he's just kind of afraid he wants someone positive. Just be nice, say hi, try and make friends with him. You don't have to date him, you don't have to whatever, just, brighten up someone lonely's day, I suppose.
Okay, noted. Thank you.
You don't want to be an incel?
No.
Why not?
Well, I mean, it's part of the whole involuntarily thing. I mean, you want to try and escape it. You want to be something better. You want to get a wife, get a girlfriend, get someone who loves you, spend your life with them, and be happy. And
What's one thing you wish people understood better about you?
I don't know. I guess I wish people would recognize how much effort I'm trying, I suppose. Like, I'm working out typically daily. I've lost over 100 pounds. I'm out there job hunting actively. I don't think people recognize how much effort the incels in general try to put into bettering themselves. I would say, people don't recognize their effort. They just assume that they're all like lazy and sad and angry at women and just giving up and things of that nature.
Honestly, this is kind of breaking my heart. Like, I feel really, genuinely bad for this kid. Like, he is just someone who was rejected by society, and treated not very well, and it has skewed his views, and he can't make proper human relationships with women because of this. And I feel really, really bad, because you can tell he's not a bad kid. He wants love. Everybody wants love, be it a platonic kind of love, like the way you love a friend, or like a romantic kind of. He wants a kind of love that you can't get from a parent, and he's not getting it, and that breaks my heart, because I feel like, I don't know, I'll be honest, I'm a childcare assistant, so a lot of my learning and my studying and my research and my essentially training to be in the childcare industry, the field, was talking about the brain development, like a lot different stages of development, and how fucking important that love is, how important it is to show a child that they are loved, not just like parental love, but as people who take care of children as well. You gotta show them that they are loved, they are supported. You gotta do that. That is so important for their childhood development. And this kid grew up in a world where people were like, nah, fuck you, fuck love. Let's just treat you as like you're less than human. Let's just keep treating someone like they're less than human, who doesn't really deserve it. It's literally just because they're a dude, and see what happens. And when they get all fucked up, when they struggle with those human connections with women, suddenly it's their fault. They're the angry ones. They're the losers. They're the bad people. Now, there's some that are. Don't get me wrong. There's some incels that are fucking obnoxious. I personally have dealt with them, and I cannot stand them. But it's not because they're guys. This is a case-by-case kind of situation. And yeah, sure, it's fun. Ha ha ha, make fun of the incels. But the reality of it, I feel like a lot of them, if not most, are like this kid. And the vocal majority, the more obnoxious in-your-face ones, are the ones that are kind of shitty. So you don't really get to hear from the ones that aren't a whole lot on social media. I feel really bad for this kid. I really do. Like I hope, if this is really a year old, because I did see a couple of people in my chat say it was, like, Jubilee posted it like a day ago, so I thought it was new. I do hope that this is something he could look back on and reflect on, but also while he's in a happy and healthy relationship, because you can tell he wants a wife, or like in the future he wants that type of loving relationship with a woman. He just hasn't gotten it. My tip to dudes: I don't care if you're an incel, I don't care if you're not, I don't care if you're just a dude who struggles to hook up with women or get into relationships with them, I should say. It's really more about confidence than anything. The way you carry yourself. Be it confident with how you present yourself, confident with the way you talk. That plays a really big part. And a lot of people are like, looks play a part too. And yeah, they do. Which, I'm not going to say change your whole appearance to please society. No. But you do have to dress more confidently, if that makes any sense. Like, if you dress like you don't want people to approach you, if you make yourself look like you're not an approachable person, people aren't going to want to approach you. I know it's scary. I know it can be scary to have people approach you. I'm terrified of it in real life, so I will. If I'm out and I don't want people to fucking talk to me in certain areas, yeah, I'll wear like big, baggy clothes and like be hyper aware of my surroundings, but also not acknowledging the existence of anybody else, because let's be honest, when you walk by yourself in certain areas, not trying to be someone anyone would want to approach, like, it's just bad. I've lived in bad areas, is all I'm going to say, and people are fucking terrifying and will literally hit you or try to stab you or pull a gun on you. Like, they do people do fucked up shit. So like in certain cases it's fine to be and dress in a way that makes you a little bit off-putting. Like, people don't want to approach you if you're dressed that way. Cool. I'll wear the baggy clothes and I'll be like, don't fucking talk to me. Have my headphones in, but often not on, so I can pay attention to what's going on around me. But yeah, okay. Just yeah. I feel one day that boys and guys in general will grow up in a world that isn't what it is today. Yeah, like, there's evil women out there that say very fucked up things, that have fucked up the development of these kids because they want to be the victim, and that's not okay. So I'm going to continue the video and see what else this kid has to say, because I feel really bad for him, and I sympathize. That's the word. I sympathize with the child. And I feel really kind of bad that these people came in with an obvious bias, which I guess is also fair because the vocal majority, but also not really fair.
I suppose.
Okay.
You don't have to see the bad things in the world and then come out a bad person. You can just see the bad things in the world and then improve upon yourself because of them, I suppose.
So you do have hope.
Yeah, I have hope, yeah. I'm a very hopeful person, I suppose.
I won't lie, this went a lot differently than I thought it would. I thought we'd be yelling at each other, you know?
It was nice to meet you.
It was nice to meet you too.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so I guess there wasn't much more of that after all. I should have been paying attention. My thoughts. I feel like and some, probably not all, but some of them actually did have a genuine, enjoyable conversation with this kid. Like, they did not hate it. They probably went in, like that one guy who said, I thought we were going to be yelling. So so I feel like some of their views have been slightly altered in regards to how they look at someone who says they're an incel. Was I guilty of using incel as an insult when I was younger? Yeah, because I ran a page, it was called Anti-Feminazi, and it attracted a lot of incels, but they weren't like the one in this video. They were very angry, and they were quite shitty towards me. So I started using that as an insult towards them, because that was what they identified as. And they were just really shitty people. I hadn't done anything to them. I was the one raising money for men's shelters and like acknowledging the issues that were surrounding, family courts, the way men and depression are handled, and any really other mental issue that men may face. It's not great. It could be better. Not as much support as there is for women. But it would be still just like screaming at me, just because I'm like literally just because I have a vagina. I remember the day people found out that I was not a guy running the page, and it was more because feminists would constantly accuse me of being just a dude, an angry dude that hated women. I'm like, no, I'm a woman myself. And this one dude who had followed me for like years just split the fuck out. You're a woman, fuck you, I'm unfollowing. Oh, this whole time I thought you were a guy, blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like, why? Like, you were agreeing with everything I said up until you found out that I have a vagina? What? So, like, yeah, I did in the past use it and make fun of guys like that. And the men going their own way kind of guys, because my experience at that age was only with those incels. So I can see where the bias comes from. There's a definite, I don't know. Like, I feel like it all depends on what your interactions are prior to meeting an incel like the kid in this video. Because, like, if your experience, like, much like incels' experiences with women and society, if your only experience with a group of people like incels is negative, you're probably going to go into a situation like in this video thinking pretty negatively. So I can't really blame the people for doing that, because I probably would have done the same thing when I was running that page before. Like, I definitely 100% would have gone in thinking pretty negatively, because my experiences with incels had always been really negative. That being said, I don't wish any harm on incels unless if they genuinely want to bring me harm, then yeah, fuck them. Like, hope you die, because I don't want you bringing me harm just because someone who isn't me was horrible to you. I don't think innocent women or men should suffer the consequences of a guy who identifies as an incel who has been really, really hurt. I don't think they should be harmed because they're mad at society. But I do think the child, I don't know how old he is actually, but he looks like a kid. I do think the kid in the video is right. Like, we should be offering more support to men just in general, but especially ones that you've noticed identify as an incel or appear to, or just lack confidence that they need to build relationships with people in general, but especially women. Do I think guys 100% need women? No, I think I think there's some guys who do better off without. Like, I mean, I don't know, gay men exist, so obviously guys can do fine without women, but the dudes that want women, the dudes that want a healthy relationship with one, but struggle with confidence or struggle with just society telling them that they're terrible because they have a penis. I think they need that support, and what that support may look like other than just saying hi and being nice, I don't know. You don't want to lead them on, but you also do want to be a good friend or role model to them so that they can have a better view on the world and have a basic understanding of communication. Yeah, no, I know what you're talking about, Fletch. I do. I do understand they were beaten down by society, and they were told many, many horrible things. But the fact of the matter is, when you start going after the people that are trying to help you, that are not necessarily speaking on your behalf or speaking for you, but formulating their own opinions and saying, hey, this is kind of fucked up, let's talk about it. I mean, like, it doesn't help your case, like, at all. It doesn't help your group. I mean, God, like, I've helped raise thousands of dollars for men's shelter. Like, well, not all in one go, but like in total, like to the various men's shelters that have been donated to, probably close to $6,000. Because I believe sitting here and complaining about how unfair it is that men don't get as much support as they deserve, both with mental health, escaping from domestic violence, etc. Instead of like sitting here complaining about it, I would do something. Sitting here and complaining about it, not doing anything, is just fucking hypocritical. Let's be real. So I decided to actually do something about it. And for the guys, the incels who were pissed at the world to come at me, it was a little bit ridiculous. Like, I wasn't set out on harming dudes. I'm not here like agreeing with how family courts are, for example. I'm not here agreeing with men constantly being shamed and told that they have male privilege or that they have white male privilege, or how women are oppressed in the Western world and like men need to do better, and like, oh God, it's exhausting. It's exhausting because it's just not true. Too many people want to be the victim while ignoring people who are actual victims of society, who have actually been treated terribly based on skin color, gender. Women want to pretend, some women want to pretend that it's them. They're always the victim. They're the ones that are treated badly. It's not. Like, same with domestic violence. Women want to say, oh, we are the victim almost all the time. Guys are evil and violent and they're abusive. But if you look at actual domestic violence statistics, the first we'll talk about the main one that everybody already knows, between the heterosexual, gay, and lesbian relationships. And the rates of domestic violence in lesbian relationships is higher than gay relationships and higher than heterosexual relationships. But also Harvard did a study. I think it was 2016, maybe a little bit later. I'll try to find it. Harvard did a study where they talked about domestic violence. They specifically talked about non-reciprocal domestic violence, which is where basically one person is doing the abusing and the other person is doing nothing. And they found that in over 70% of the cases, men were the victims. They found that women are more likely to hit men with objects. And this was non-reciprocated domestic violence. So it's really, really telling when there's women who really want to push this narrative that men are more violent than women, but the reality of it is, like, they can be equally violent, and women tend to be more abusive in relationships than guys. it's just how it is. I can't point that out too much though, because then some women will get very upset. I'm very sorry. I'm very sorry you went through that, Fletch, and I'm very sorry that happened to you as well, Nacho Ninja. I know that shitty women exist. I do try my best not to be a horrible bitch to AP. There's been times where I've overreacted to things, and I'll admit that I have overreacted to things, but I've never intentionally been like beyond shitty to him, if that makes sense. I've like overreacted to things. Like I'm a little bit sensitive. I'm a very emotional person. I do get angry at certain things and have these snap responses, which I'm learning could potentially be related to ADHD and being unmedicated, because you give those snap responses and you have those very intense emotions, which I didn't think were linked to that until recently, when I discovered that is not the case. So I'm working on getting medicated for ADHD, because I don't think enough people talk about exactly everything surrounding that. But I don't think that I'm actually like really terrible to AP, even when I'm really upset. I don't have any desire to cause him harm. I don't have any desire to hurt him in any way, physically, emotionally, like mentally. I don't want to do any of that. I love him dearly, but I have overreacted. Fuck you, Birdie. Fuck you. But no, I do genuinely love AP with all my heart, and I would never intentionally do anything to hurt him. Can you unintentionally hurt people? Fuck yeah. Do I think I've ever unintentionally hurt him? Probably not. He doesn't seem the type to get hurt by things that I say. But maybe have I pissed him off or upset him or angered him? Yeah, that happens though. That's normal for people to get pissed off at each other. But I'm working on not being a type of person that I don't want to be. I don't want to be the type of person to keep blurting things out out of pure emotion when I'm pissed off or very sad. Again, it's an ADHD thing. I just blurt things out without thinking sometimes. And I've literally have sworn in front of my boss once, but to be fair, she's done it in front of me, and she kind of like was like, oh, she looked panicked when it happened. But I'm like, no, it's cool. Like, I've sworn in front of my coworkers before. It's not very professional, but I have done it because, yeah, one day I was pissed off. I'll be honest. I cleaned under our lofts. We have a loft where we store things. Me and another coworker helped a little bit, but we pulled everything out, and for 2 hours I sat there and I reorganized absolutely everything. The next day I looked, and it was disastrous. There was shit everywhere. It was unorganized. It was not the way I had put it. It was not how it was supposed to be. And I was just like, what the fuck? And I just was so mad. Like, I blurted stuff out to one of my coworkers. I'm like, it's really disrespectful. Like, I'm really pissed off that people aren't putting things back to how they're supposed to be. I worked really hard on this. And I'm like, yeah, but we don't know how it's supposed to look. I'm like, okay, fair. So I took photos. There was a note put in our communication book. And it happened again, where I went under there and it was a fucking disaster. And at that point, I was really pissed off because, like, there was stuff put in the communication book at this point explaining, and it got ignored. So I very passive-aggressively took more photos and posted it above the loft so that when you go there, you can see it. Do you think that helped? No, it didn't. Like, it didn't help at all, which is very frustrating. So yeah, I expressed my frustration to my coworkers. I expressed my frustration to my boss. and leadership, because it's so aggravating when you spend hours cleaning something and then suddenly it's a fucking mess. That being said, because of how hard I work and how good I am at actually organizing stuff at work, I did get tasked with being like the official person to organize shit, but with the expectation that I'll organize it and everybody else has to keep it that way, and leadership and my boss will be on their ass about keeping it that way. So if there's someone who messes it up, I'm not the one responsible for constantly cleaning up after my coworkers. There's some that are respectful, like not obviously wasn't all of them messing up my work, but it was someone, and that someone never fessed up, and that was a big part of what caused stress at work. I have a little break now. Everybody's like, working with children must be so hard. Like kids for the most part, depending on the day, are pretty great. You can sit and interact with them and watch their tiny little brains develop and watch them grow. It's the people who don't respect or don't really pay attention to your hard work as an adult and kind of just decide that 2 hours of cleaning is just like, whatever. Someone else will clean this up if I throw a bunch of stuff on the floor. And I wasn't even the only one that was mad. The coworker who helped me out of it, she was really busy during the cleaning time, but she did help pull stuff out, and she did help decide where things went, and she was pretty mad too. She's like, man, if I'm mad, I can only imagine how Leaf feels. But yeah, I like having things look aesthetically pleasing. I do. That I'm very, very big on aesthetics in my work life, in my home life, in just clothing, like just everything. I'm very, very picky about aesthetics. I took my professional development, which I have a ridiculous amount of PD hours, like an insane amount. So when I took my course on aesthetics in ECE settings, ECE stands for Early Childhood Educator, or Early Childhood Education. So in ECE settings, there was a lot talked about keeping the room clean, like making everything's organized, everything looks visually appealing. I took the steps to try to use our obnoxious fluorescent lights a little bit less, because I know that's really not pleasing to anybody. It hurts my head, hurts my eyes, I don't like them. If I could have fairy lights dangling around all the time, or dimmed lights all the time, I would. Just basic suggestions. So it's very important to me that things don't look fucking horrendous. Do I sometimes get a little bit messy? Yeah. I'm an unmedicated ADHD person, but when I am in the right mindset, I will clean, I will scrub every inch of the floor, I will make things look as aesthetically pleasing as possible, because it's something that I value. So when it's at work and that gets all fucked up, and everybody's on the same page, or supposed to be on the same page as a childcare educator, yeah, I get pissed off. Long story short, if like anybody's wanting to skip through this and wondering what my point is that emotions can be hard to regulate sometimes, and sometimes we unintentionally say things out of anger to people that we care about, and sometimes I do that to AP, and I always feel horrible when I say things to AP that I don't mean. Like, I never actually hate AP, and I said that, even jokingly I say that, and I probably should not jokingly say it. Like, he knows I'm joking, but I feel bad even when I say it jokingly. I feel really bad when I say it even jokingly. But anyways, it's 9:30. I have not eaten for the past 2 days, so I'm going to go eat, because I feel like that's probably why I feel so fucking tired. and just completely out of energy. But I do appreciate you guys coming to my stream, hanging out with me, listening to me talk for an uncomfortable period of time, which I'm not used to talking for this long. So maybe I'll get better. What I would like to do is start a stream where it's just cute things. So if you have any videos of cute things, cute dogs, cute people, babies, clothing, I don't care. Someone's trying on cute clothes. If you have any videos of that, send them to me. Send them to me on Discord. I don't have a Twitter anymore. I don't add people on Facebook. But if you have my Discord, send them my way. Because I would love to do a cute thing stream and just bring wholesomeness to the world. Because there's a lot of fucked up shit. And like, I can watch that at Mercer's show, or I can watch it at AP's show. So why would I want another show of fucked up shit or fucked up people? Let's just have a wholesome, cute morning stream where we drink our coffee, eat our breakfast, and watch dogs play in the rain or something. I don't know. But I'm a go. I hope you guys have a lovely evening. And I hope anybody who gets to watch AP's Patreon show has a fantastic time.